This episode is sponsored by Ridge. You want to protect your Magic cards in style, so why not do the same for your credit cards? Ridge wallets can take your wallet game to the next level. They're sleek, minimalist, and made with premium high-performance materials like carbon fiber, titanium, and stainless steel. Plus, a Ridge wallet is the best way to protect your own credit and debit cards with built-in RFID blocking technologies to stop digital pickpockets in their tracks. For a limited time, our listeners can get 10% off at ridge.com by using command at checkout. Just go to ridge.com and use code COMMAND to let them know we sent you.
Greetings, humans. You have entered the Command Zone, your destination for all aspects of Elder Dragon Highlander. Enjoy your stay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Command Zone podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Weeks.
I'm Jimmy Wong.
And today we have a very special episode. We are revealing a brand new Precon. This is from the set Edge of Eternities. It's green, it's red, it's black, it's full of bugs. It's the World Shaper. Precon.
Breaker. Yeah, very cool. It's a new Precon from Edge of Eternities. The set, it looks very cool. And you know what? You would think things need to be in space. No, it turns out you can also be on a planet.
Yeah,
or
there's
the
planets in space.
Yeah, there's planets in space and bugs in space, too. We all know that.
In this episode, we're going to tell you what exactly is in this box. We're going to reveal it to the world, and then we're going to tell you how to upgrade this Precon to get it into peak fighting shape for your next game night when you pick this guy up.
Very cool.
So, long episode, lots of cool stuff to get to. Let's tell the people about the deck.
Yeah, this is the World Shaper deck. The deck contents is really interesting. There are actually 12 new cards.
12 brand new ones. That's including the face commander.
Yeah, normally it's 10, right?
So there's two additional
cards. There are 0 cards from the main set of Edge of Eternities. Usually you see like 1 or 2. 71 reprints, 17 basic lands.
That's a lot, but you'll find out why.
Yeah, and there's a lot of lands in this deck because it is a landfall type deck.
It is. It is a landfall in more ways than one.
Yeah,
they enter the battlefield, they leave the battlefield, they're doing all sorts of things.
Let's talk about the new commanders, though. These are very interesting, so in case you haven't seen them yet, they are spacecraft, and they can be your commander. So,
new rules.
Yeah, new rules, thanks, for Edge of Eternities. And so the first one up, let's just read it. It's Hearthhull the World Seed. This is 1 in Jund, so 1 black, red, green for a 6/7. Well, actually, let's take it back a notch. It's a legendary artifact - spacecraft with the ability Station on it. So Station says tap another creature you control, put charge counters equal to its power on this spacecraft, and Station only as a sorcery. In this case, this becomes a creature when it has stationed 8 total, so 8 or more charge counters on it. So it also has an ability that unlocks when you've stationed it for 2 or more. So at 2 or more stationed, I guess that's how we'll refer to it, this Hearthhull the World Seed gains the ability, pay 1 and tap it, sacrifice a land, and then it says, draw 2 cards. You may play an additional land this turn.
That's very powerful.
Pretty good. 1 mana tap, draw 2. You have to sack a land, but turns out this deck wants to do that.
I mean, it looks a lot like a Shorikai, right?
Yeah.
It's a 4 mana vehicle type thing that when it enters, you have this, like, as long as you can crew it for 2, you have this very powerful ability. And it's worth noting, once it's stationed, it stays stationed. You don't have to do that every turn.
Unless the charge counters somehow fall off.
Right.
And unlike crew, you can only do it at sorcery speed.
Yes.
But there's more! Because when you get it stationed at 8, it becomes an artifact creature that's a 6/7, and then it has flying, vigilance, and haste. Sick. And then it also says whenever you sacrifice a land, each opponent loses 2 life. Ooh-wee!
It's a win con. It's a way to get more lands onto the battlefield and off the battlefield. It draws you cards, and it can do it the turn it comes down as long as you have a creature to station it.
Yeah, so station up to 8, it can swing an attack, and then if you have the mana, you can tap to sack a land, make everyone lose that life, draw a bunch of cards, hit someone for 6 in the air, yeah.
Hearthhull is a walloping new commander. I mean, this is very serious.
All the pieces are on it.
Right.
Plus more, actually. Yeah.
So that is one of the options to be a commander of this deck. The backup commander is Zarel, Genesis Shepherd. This is 2 black, red, green for an insect druid. It's a 2/5 with flying that says you may play lands from your graveyard. Great, that goes very well with Hearthhole.
Yeah.
And then it says, whenever you sacrifice another non-token permanent during your turn, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to Zarel's power on up to one other target creature. So this is more of a sacrifice, generally based commander. You can sacrifice any non-token permanent and start loading your creatures up with +1 counters. So as you're sacrificing things, you're getting a lot of value from it.
Yeah. So
Plus, you get to play those lands from your graveyard.
Yeah. So non-token means your treasures and your clues don't count, but all of your lands, any type of fetch land, any time of just sacrifice a creature type cards, will also trigger this. Zaro starts at what? 2 power.
2 power.
So yeah, if you're going to build the Zaro route, you would think, okay, I'm going to find ways to get a bunch of power buffs on Zaro, and then that way it's throwing around counters, sometimes multiple times in a single turn. Pretty good.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the play lands from your graveyard. That is a card advantage ability.
Yeah.
That means if you have fetch lands, you always have a land to play. As long as, of course, you have 5 mana, because this is 1 more mana expensive than the Hearthhole.
Yeah. So this isn't necessarily landfall deck. It's more like land sack deck. It wants you to sacrifice lands. Zaro just cares about non-token permanents. Hearthhole obviously just cares about lands, but both of these are really, really powerful, and might I say it, going to be very popular.
I agree. I mean, I think this deck is sweet. Those 2 commanders say something that we haven't really seen before outside of the Deserts archetype. This does kind of remind me of the Deserts commander where you sacrifice lands to replay lands. But in Jund, it's perfect because you get a lot of your sacrifice payoffs. And there's very strong engines for both of these commanders. So we're going to get into the 99 of the deck. We're going to reveal the brand new cards. There are 10 of them we haven't talked about. But first, if you want to pick up this Precon and you can want to support the show, you can head on over to cardkingdom.com/command. Card Kingdom is a great place to buy your Magic the Gathering cards, and because they have a ton of them all in one place. If you're excited about Edge of Eternities, we are. The Shocklands are back. Thank goodness. They needed a reprint so bad.
Thank goodness.
So
and they look sweet.
If you want to pre-order this Precon or the other Precon, if you want to pick up any of the set cards from the set as they are spoiled, pre-order them at Card Kingdom. You can get a ton of them in one spot. And while you're shopping with Card Kingdom, you're supporting the show. So go to cardkingdom.com/command.
And you thought you didn't need more playmats? You're wrong. You do. ultrapro.com/command. Whether it's the sleeves, the deck boxes, the playmats, the wall scrolls, or what have you.
Yeah.
And of course, you might find something from the past sets that you really enjoy as well. I know there's still some Final Fantasy stuff lying around some sleeves and stuff, like fingers crossed. But there's always tons of great stuff because Ultra Pro has the license for the official Magic art. ultrapro.com/command for Edge of Eternities, for the next upcoming sets, for whatever it is that you need to, let's say you're buying a gift for someone, you want to suit them up with all of the sweet accoutrement around specifically this deck or the other Precon. You can get it all at ultrapro.com/command and you support the show and you get some sweet products, high quality. They're the best in the biz. We of course, trust our own collections to it here in the office as well. So again, ultrapro.com/command.
You can also support us directly by going to patreon.com/commandzone. Get access to extra turns, game nights a day early without ads. Pretty sweet. Plus, you get to join our Discord community, talk about Magic with a bunch of really cool people. We talk about all of these Precons, how our patrons are upgrading them in the Discord. So if you're really excited about one of these commanders or the Precon in general, hop in there. You're supporting the show and you get to be a part of a really sweet community. So patreon.com/commandzone. Plus, we shout out one lucky patron every single podcast episode. And this one is dedicated to Leon Foray the Fourth. You rock, Leon.
That is the name of a legendary creature in Magic
right?
the Gathering.
It's gotta be.
And you can't convince me otherwise.
And you're Jund now. Congratulations,
Yeah, very
Leon.
cool. Yeah. All right.
More new cards.
10 of them. Exciting. And some of them are really sweet.
Yeah.
All right, first off, we got Baloth Prime. 3 green for a 10/10 beast.
Yeah, 4
Sick.
mana 10/10.
It does enter, however, tapped with 6 stun counters on it.
Okay.
So it's going to have to untap 6 times for the stun counters to be removed, and then it can finally untap.
Okay.
So it has some more text, though. Whenever you sacrifice a land, create a tapped 4/4 green beast creature token and untap this creature.
I see.
So just imagine this as an enchantment. for the most part. 4-mana enchantment. Whenever you sack a land, make a tapped 4/4, which is pretty sweet. And then there's one final ability on here that allows you to sacrifice lands. You can pay 4 mana to sacrifice a land and gain 2 life. Now, that's very expensive to do so, especially when other cards exist that allow you to do it for free.
Yep.
But it is an ability that allows you to get there. And, of course, trigger Zar-El, trigger Hearthhole.
Yeah.
But I don't think this thing, you're not really expecting this thing to untap very often.
I mean, it's 6 stun counter, so you remove one when you on your untap step, and then anytime you activate a Hearthhole ability or a fetch land, like you can get through there pretty quick. And in the meantime, you're making 4/4s. So.
That's the big one. You're making 4/4s. By the time this is a 10/10, it doesn't have like trample or anything. It's essentially the same as a 4/4 in a lot of ways if you think about it. In big commander games.
Yeah, it's like a reverse rampaging Baloths.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. But this is a sweet card. I think this has a home in a lot of different decks too.
For sure. This next one is an insect cleric for 2 black. It's called Eumidian Waste Waker.
Ooh.
It is a 4/4 insect cleric, and it says, whenever this creature attacks, you and defending player each discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. You draw a card for each land card put into a graveyard this way. It also has Encore for 6 black.
Whoa.
So anytime it attacks, you and the player you're attacking discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. You probably sacrifice a land because that's what this deck is about. They could discard a land or a spell, or they could sacrifice a token or something like that. So
maybe even a land.
Maybe even a land if they have a lot of lands. I feel like most likely your opponent is going to be discarding a land. It's sort of like the least cost.
If they had to discard something, the land is the most likely to be discarded.
Unless they have treasures or clues or something floating around. But you probably sacrifice a land and draw a card. So it's a sweet little bug. And if you activate this Encore ability, you attack 3 players with it. You can sacrifice 3 things, draw 3 cards, and then depending on what they do, you can draw even more. So it's going to be a huge swing if you get this thing going.
There's also a good chance in this deck that you want lands from your hand to go to the graveyard immediately, so you could be discarding the lands as well.
There are definitely some discard outlets for lands. There's stuff that cares about the lands in your graveyard. So you can see a lot of ways that this works well.
Yeah. Okay, next up is the Eumidian Hatchery.
Okay.
So the Eumidians, I suppose, are the
bug folks.
The bug folk. You can pay tap 1 life on this land, and it says add a black mana, and then add a hatchling counter to this. Put a hatchling counter on this land. So it's at its base kind of like a swamp that costs you 1 life every time you tap it. But it says when this land is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, for each hatchling counter on it, create a 1/1 black insect creature token with flying. So as long as you're okay just losing a bunch of life to this, you get this on turn 1. By the time it's turn 6 or 7 and you finally sacrifice this land, you're making a ton of bugs.
And they're flying?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very serious board state that you can kind of keep safe until you're ready to use it.
Yeah, this is very hard to interact with.
Absolutely. You've got, even if they're like, we have to get rid of that land, I'm going to blow it up with a generous gift or hit it with a wasteland.
You don't want that.
You're like, they're going to get the bugs anyway.
Yeah.
So it does feel like as long as you have a reliable way to sacrifice it, which this deck definitely does, it's going to do a lot of work in your deck.
Yeah.
The next one is Evendo Brush Razor. This is another insect. It's 2 and a red for a 2/2 insect warrior. It says whenever you sacrifice a non-token permanent, exile the top card of your library.
Whoa.
During your turn, as long as you've sacrificed a non-token permanent this turn, you may play cards exiled with this creature. Then it says tap, sacrifice a land, add red.
Whoa.
Okay.
It's got it all.
This is an ability that says tap, sacrifice a land, add red, and impulse draw a card you can play this turn.
Yeah, which might be a land to replace the one you just sacked.
Yeah. I mean, this is a ton of value. We're talking about card advantage and ramp built into your this card, and it goes into the sacrifice land synergies. I don't know.
That card is sick.
I'm pretty high on this card.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool that it can kind of store the cards in exile, and you can cast them like
later on, right?
Like, let's say you impulse draw a counter spell or something like that. Normally it's dead, but if you're still control the Brush Razor, if you can like fetch on somebody else's turn, you do have access to that counter spell and can cast it on that turn.
Yeah, or you can just tap it to sack it.
That's true. That's true. You could use it to sacrifice a land, get 2 red, use it to cast an instant speed spell.
Yeah, this card is genuinely super sick.
It's really cool. And I know sacrifice a land sounds like a really high cost, but in this deck, it just isn't.
Yeah, and even if you don't want to sack lands with this card, you can just put this in a deck that sacks creatures or whatever else and just get tons of value on it.
It's a huge amount of card advantage.
Yeah, Impulse Draw that now like sticks around is actually really cool. You saw it on Summon Brynhilder, which is a new Final Fantasy card.
That's true, yeah. You have
You get multiple turns to play that card. In this case, as long as this thing sticks around, you're raising some brushes. All right, next up, it's Exploration. It's not a reprint, it's Exploration Brood Ship. 1 green for a spacecraft artifact. It's got station on it, and in this case, it's similar to Hearthhold. You have to station it for 8+ to make it a creature. But it's got 2 abilities. The first is stationing at 3+, and it says you may play an additional land on each of your turns. So it's Exploration.
Okay. Nice. For 1 mana? Man.
1 mana, yeah. You just have to have 3 power of creatures to put into it. And then at 8+, it has it gains flying. It's a 4/4. And it says once during each of your turns, you may cast a permanent spell from your graveyard by sacrificing a land in addition to paying its other costs.
I mean...
So you can tap the land for mana, sacrifice it, and then play a permanent or cast a permanent. So you can't get lands back with this, but this is sweet.
This card seems wild, right? This is an exploration as long as you have your commander on board or something like that, any creature. And then it's chills as a non-creature permanent until you need it to be something busted. I mean, 8 is a lot, but
it's a lot.
If you've already crewed it for 3, it's only an additional 5.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, you're happy at just 3.
I agree. I mean, it's exploration at just 3.
Yeah, and then this just becomes a late game threat. No one wants to get rid of this card, by the way. When it's on your battlefield, like, no one wants to spend a removal spell on it.
This is a very real Magic card. I think we'll see lots of it.
Yeah.
Up next, we've got Horizon Explorer. This is another insect. It's 2 and a green for a 2/4 Insect Scout. It says lands you control enter untapped.
Bingo.
Already good.
Love that.
Whenever you attack a player, create a lander token. Okay, this is new. It's an artifact with 2 tap, sacrifice this token, search your library for a basic land card, and put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. But remember, it comes in untapped.
What?
So it says whenever you attack a player, so you can make up to 3 of them in Commander, right? You can attack 1 at each player, make 3 lander tokens. They cost you 2 to activate, and then they come in tapped. Or untapped with this thing in play. So as long as you have...
Whenever you attack someone, you create rampant growth tokens?
You pay, but it comes in untapped with this on board. On the board.
Wow.
Okay, so if you pay 2, you get 1 untapped. Then you pay another 1, you get 1 untapped. You pay 1, you get another 1 untapped. So if you attack 3 players, you only need 4 mana to crack all of your lander tokens.
I think that's right. Because you just have they come in
untapped,
and you can use it again to crack another one.
So now you can start to see why there's a lot of basics in this deck.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Horizon Explorer seems very strong.
Yeah, again, 2 3-mana bangers now so far.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to attack.
Yeah. Next up, we have Planetary Annihilation.
Whoa.
3 red for a sorcery. Each player chooses 6 lands they control, then sacrifices the rest.
Okay.
Planetary Annihilation deals 6 damage to each creature.
Whoa. They made a Yockelhops-ish, but...
Mass land destruction in the Precon?
I mean, 6 lands is a lot of lands. I feel like you will be sacrificing kind of the most here, but...
Unless you've been sort of like keeping your land count down throughout the game because of all your other effects.
I mean, you mostly... Right. You probably just cast this when you're at 6 and then use your like 3 extra land drops. Your commander probably isn't a creature yet if you have Hearthhold in the command zone.
Yeah, and this won't punish players too bad. Some players that have like 12 lands out might get hurt, but I think for the most part, like by the time you're casting this, people have 7-8 lands on the battlefield. It's not going to be super crazy for them.
This is interesting. I mean, is this a good solution to land ramp in Commander? I don't know. We shall see.
It's sweet though.
I have all the insects. The next one we have is Scouring Swarm. It's 1 black-green for a 1/1 creature insect with flying. It says whenever you sacrifice a land, create a tapped token that's a copy of this creature if 7 or more land cards are in your graveyard. Okay, that's pretty steep.
That's steep. That's a lot of lands.
Otherwise, create a tapped 1/1 black insect creature token with flying.
Oh, you get the token no matter what.
So if you when you crack a fetch, you get a bug with flying. If you have a bunch of lands in your graveyard, if you're in a self-mill deck or something like that, then you start making copies of your Scouring Swarm.
And then if you have 2 copies out, then they both get copied in that.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is sort of a Scoot Swarm that's a little bit harder to use, but you do get a better payoff because they do have flying naturally.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder how high of a cost 7 lands in your graveyard is.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Even cards that are like threshold, 7 cards in your graveyard.
7's a lot. 7 lands is even more.
You have to really be dedicated to milling or just hope that you're only drawing this late game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 more new cards, and these ones are a little less exciting, but honestly, I'm glad to see them starting to complete these cycles.
They're lands. The first up is Festering Thicket. It's a land with 2 land types on it, a swamp forest, and it has cycling 2, and it enters tapped. Beautiful.
This is the Golgari Bicycle land. This is the first time this has been printed.
Yeah.
And appropriately, the other new card is Vernal Fen. This is also a swamp forest. This land enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. So this is the Golgari Tango land.
So good.
Even more for these cycles. That's very exciting, especially because these are fetchable.
Yes, they're fetchable. They're going to make mana bases for more budget decks, hopefully even easier and better. And you just love to see these. You really love to see these.
Yeah, I'm stoked about that. I am excited to see them completing cycles that we haven't seen in years.
Also, sorry everyone, I'm a little snivelly. Rachel's voice is a little gone.
Yeah, we're still recovering
from Vegas, and then we filmed a lot last week too.
Yeah,
so
it's been a very busy couple of weeks.
My body's just been like, no, why are you still recording?
I know. Okay, so those are the new cards in the deck. That's all 12 of them, but there are some very meaningful reprints in this deck as well. We're going to talk about all of the reprints, and we're going to do the total reprint value of this deck. Worth noting that this MSRP is set for $45, so significantly lower than the Final Fantasy ones.
Yes.
All of that considered, what is the total reprint value for World Shaper?
At the time of recording, we took the prices of all the cards minus the new cards. So the total reprint value is $135.75.
Okay.
Now, notably, there are 2 new cards, so that means 2 less reprints that could be made. And the average reprint value for 2024 is $137.79. So this is a little bit below average, but
it's right on.
Yeah.
And, it's a little lower on the reprint side because it does have so many basic lands. 17 is more than we often see. And mechanically, it is completely necessary to have 17 basic lands. So, yeah, I think this is a perfectly acceptable reprint value.
Yeah, and based on just the cards that we've read so far, I think this deck has a lot of value just in terms of like powerful cards because landfall strategies are abundant. And
absolutely.
Every deck is playing some kind of land that fetches or sacks itself.
To get a better idea of what the quality of the reprints are, we like to take the bang for your buck value as well. So that is the total reprint value divided by the number of the total reprint value divided by how much you spend on it in American dollars, and you find out how much reprint value you're getting for your $1 spent. And at $45, you're getting $3.02 of reprints for your $1 spent.
And the average for 2024 was $2.75. So it's higher.
Above average.
Yeah.
That means that we have a high quality of actual reprint value.
Yeah. Okay, but let's talk about the notable reprints.
Yeah,
this is always a really exciting thing.
Let's get into it.
If you're just going to buy this deck and hope to take it apart and use some of the cards elsewhere, well, guess what? There are some sweet ones. There are 8 cards that are worth $5 or more at the time of making this video. Of course, that number has already gone down thanks to the fact that this video is out. Number 1 at $15 was Corvold, Fey Cursed King.
Ooh, a non-foil Corvold.
Hey, that's right. Very cool. Yeah, a very powerful card, really popular commander.
You could put it in the command zone.
Yeah, you could put it in the command zone. And it also does the exact thing. It sacrifices permanents.
Yeah. Corvold sitting at $15. The next reprint sitting at $14.
Crazy. I didn't realize this.
Is Morog Fury of Akum. All the way up to $14. Glad to see it reprinted. It's a good win con in any landfall deck.
Yeah. Next up is an $8 card. It's the Oracle of Moldaya. This used to be such an expensive card, and now it's seen a couple of reprints now. It's a great card. Play more lands. Play from the top of your deck. Just powerful card.
Up next is a fetch land. It's Fabled Passage, sitting at $7, and got some shiny new art for this set.
Yeah, that'll actually keep its value up a little bit because it looks really sweet.
Yeah.
And then next up at $7 as well is Braids Arisen Nightmare.
New braids, not old
Yeah,
braids.
good card. Very powerful card.
Draws a lot of cards. And a staple in any sacrifice deck. It's Mazarek Crawl Death Priest, sitting at $6.50. Mazarek is an unbelievable win con if you are sacrificing permanents.
Yep. Next up, we have God Eternal Bontu at $5. Also something that allows you to sack a bunch of permanents. Very powerful card.
And finally, at $5, the Gitrog Monster.
Absurd in this deck.
Absurd in this deck. Very good reprint. I'm glad it's in here so we don't have to add it.
Yep.
All right, those are the notable reprints. We've mentioned all the new cards. We've mentioned the notable reprints, but we do like to go through the rest of the deck just so you know what you're getting when you buy it.
Yeah.
So it's time to reveal the rest of the deck list. We're not going to read every card, but we will tell you the name, and we are going to put it on screen because there is some brand new art for this Precon.
Yep, and we'll let you know when we see some new art. Okay, deck list, by the way, in the show notes. Make sure you check that out. Okay, you ready to do it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. First up, we have Aftermath Analyst.
Huge.
Such a good card in this deck.
Featuring some new art, we've got Arcane Signet.
Yeah, we love that. And then we've got Augur of Autumn, another play off the top of your library.
Beast Within, classic
Very
removal.
good. Binding the Old Gods, a saga with new art.
It's
Whoa.
unbelievable. It's got bug art on it. It's very cool.
Bugs.
Then Blasphemous Act.
What? That
Good
card's
reprint.
not good.
Throw it out. It's garbage.
Then we got Bajuka Bog for someone else's graveyard, not yours.
Cabaret Courtyard. This is the
I
new
love those
Capenna
lands.
fetch lands.
Yeah, they enter and they immediately
sacrifice.
Yep. Canyon Slough. It's a land. It's a land.
Centaur Vine Crasher.
It's okay. It's a good card.
It's big.
It's big. Cinderglade, another land.
With new art, it's Command Tower.
And then we have Cultivate, obviously.
Dackmore Salvage.
Ooh, Dredge Time. Escape to the Wilds. Very good.
so good.
Play a lot of lands with that guy.
Escape Tunnel, another fetch land.
Yep. Evolving Wilds, fetch land.
Farseek with new art.
Formless Genesis.
Oh, this is a cool one. Gaze of Granite. It's the green-black board wipe.
Groundskeeper.
Hammer of Perforos. Grand Haste also has sax lands.
Sack some lands on it, yeah. Harrow, sack lands.
Infernal Grasp.
Removal. Jury, Master of the Review.
Beloved Sacrifice
Picker, yeah.
Commander. Carplusan Forest.
Land. Landor Waste, land.
Loamcrafter Fawn. It discards some cards, gets some other things back to your hand.
Yeah. Maestro's Theater, so this is the other Capenna enters in Sax land.
Mayhem Devil, terrifying.
So good. Mountain Valley with new art.
Another fetch land. Multani Yavamaya's Avatar. This is the big
Classic.
one. You get it back to your hand.
Myriad Landscape. Duh.
Nature's Lore.
Duh. Night's Whisper. Draw cards.
Omnath, Locus of Rage.
Oh, yeah. This thing is going to be huge in this deck.
Yep.
Pest Infestation. You're going to have a lot of mana, probably.
Putrefy, another removal spell.
Yeah. Rakdos Charm. Player removal?
Yeah, careful though. You're going to have a lot of tokens too.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Rampaging Baloth, speaking of
Yep.
tokens.
Riveteer's Overlook. Another sack land.
Rocky Tar Pit, another sack land.
Roiling Regrowth. More things to sacrifice lands with.
Satyr Wayfinder.
Very good. Sheltered Thicket. Land.
Sky Shroud Claim, more land.
Smoldering Marsh is a land.
Soul Ring, of course, with new art.
Yeah, as they do. Soul of Windgrace, classic Jund Landfall Commander.
Yeah, he brings lets you discard those lands that we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Splendid Reclamation, get all those lands back when you've been
You
sacking
want a
and
couple of those
discarding them.
effects, yeah. Spring Bloom Druid with new art.
Oh, one of my favorites in Hazizon, it's Sprouting Goblin.
Nice. They sprout too. Sulphurous Springs, more lands.
Tear Asunder, removal.
Terramorphic Expanse, sack land with new art.
It's pretty cool art as well. Tireless Tracker is here.
We do love Tireless Tracker. Titania, Protector of Argoth. Yay, it also sacks lands.
Oh, it's so perfect in this deck. Twilight Mire.
Urg, Spawn of Turg.
Viridescent Bog.
Windgrace's Judgment.
More removal. World Breaker. More
Ooh,
removal.
Very good. And then World Soul's Rage.
I love that one.
Kill a player.
Yeah, that card's busted. And it's got 1 waste, 5 swamps, 3 mountains, and 8 forests.
Yep, makes sense.
That is the deck. One sneaky waste that is there for the World Breaker.
Yeah.
So you can make sure you can guarantee to bring it back to your hand. All right, that is the full deck. We have revealed it. We've shown it to you. Now we're going to break down the deck. We're going to do a little bit more stats and tell you exactly what to add to this deck to really maximize the potential using a budget of only $50. But first,
let's hear a message
from our sponsors.
Goodbye. See you soon.
What's up, pipsqueaks? It's me, the totally ripped raccoon from Thickest in the Thicket. When it comes to fitness, my goal is the thickness. But when it comes to wallets, carrying a thick, bulky mess around was weighing me down, in a bad way. That's why I switched to this Ridge wallet, and the gains to my life have been stacked. Don't be fooled by their slim, modern design. Ridge wallets are strong, made with premium materials like titanium and carbon fiber. They're perfect for protecting those extra cards I pick up by being the bulkiest bandit on the battlefield, whether it's my credit card, ID, or membership to Eternal Fitness. And Ridge wallets come in a bushel of different colors and styles, so your wallet can look as good as you do, or as good as I do. Check out these packs! Now that I've got the thinnest wallet in the thicket, I feel like my power is doubled. Let's get swole!
For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off at Ridge by using code COMMAND at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and use code COMMAND and you're all set. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them, so please support our show and tell them we sent you. Again, that's ridge.com, promo code COMMAND.
And in August we have that set, and in September we have another. Rachel, wake up! I think the product fatigue may have finally gotten to you.
Look, I can talk about cards all day. It's not that. It's the summer heat and my old mattress. I just haven't been sleeping well.
Oh, well, if you want to upgrade your sleep, what you gotta do is get a new mattress from Brooklyn Bedding. I got the Aurora Lux cooling mattress, and it has been amazing. The cooling foam keeps me comfortable through the night, so I always wake up rested and refreshed. Brooklyn Bedding mattresses are great for spinal alignment and back health too, and there are plenty of different options for any body type or sleep style. They've even got an easy 2-minute quiz to help you find the perfect match for you.
Nice. I'll take that quiz right after recording.
Sounds good. Now, are you ready to talk about the thousands of new cards to keep track of?
The product fatigue! He's crashing! We need his cool and rejuvenating Brooklyn Bedding mattress! Stat!
Go to brooklynbedding.com and use our promo code COMMAND at checkout to get 30% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. That's brooklynbedding.com and promo code COMMAND for 30% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. Again, brooklynbedding.com, promo code COMMAND.
Welcome, cast fans. Tygam Master Opportunist here from the hit meditation podcast, Just Sky's the Limit. I know I appear calm and collected now, but when I first started casting, running a business felt overwhelming. Thank goodness I found Shopify, who helped me manage a flurry of questions and challenges so I could focus on getting out 2 casts a turn. I mean week. With Shopify, there's no reason to suspend your dreams of starting a business. They have true mastery when it comes to managing inventory, shipping, returns, and more. Plus, they can aid you with tools such as ready-to-use templates for your online store. It's like you have a whole monastery of marketing monks on your side, ready to easily create social media campaigns with unmatched commercial prowess. Shopify is the platform behind 10% of e-commerce in the US, including my hated rivals, the Command Zone. They just make good stuff. So take it from a master opportunist. With Shopify, your opportunity is now.
Turn your big business idea into... with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/TCZ. Go to shopify.com/TCZ. Again, shopify.com/TCZ.
Aha! Psych Rift. Yeah, this deck feels like a 3.
Updating your decks?
No, I'm just sorting them into commander brackets.
Oh, just use ARCHIDEKT. It's the easiest way to get an estimate of your deck's bracket. Plus, you can click the number and it'll lay out the reasoning. It takes things like tutors, extra turns, and land destruction into account, and game changers are all clearly marked. It even recognizes 2-card combos. See? It's saying your deck is actually a 4. It'll be a 3 if you've got Ristic Study.
Huh. Okay, 4 it is.
ARCHIDEKT is the best place to browse, brew, and check your deck's commander brackets. Just go to archidekt.com/commandzone to get started.
That's ARCHIDEKT.com/commandzone.
Welcome back, everybody. We
What's
are
up?
talking about World Shaper, the new Jund Precon from Edge of Eternities. And we told you everything that's inside it, but first we want to break down the
Stats. Okay, what's in the deck? We've got 13 pieces of ramp.
That is not including extra land drop
Okay.
abilities. That is
Yeah.
just gives you more mana guaranteed.
Yeah, that's obviously a lot, but it's the deck that likes it. 14 card advantage.
14 pieces of card advantage is what you want in a deck like this. Honestly, you might want more to try and hit all of the additional land drops that the deck offers.
Yeah.
But 14 is plenty. It's above our template, so pretty good.
That's what I want. Yeah, and your commander does it too, which is great.
That's true.
10 sources of targeted disruption. We saw a lot of those.
Yep.
Obviously, we just talked about them.
7 pieces of mass disruption.
Whoa.
So that includes board wipes, a lot of spells that hit multiple targets.
Yeah.
Like Pest Infestation would count as mass disruption. It could also be targeted. Windgrace's Judgment, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of slots dedicated to spend one card and take out multiple things.
And then this is a deck that wants lands. There are 42 lands in here.
Yes.
Wow. 17 basic lands, 15 of them are tapped lands, and 4 of them are partially tapped lands, so they have conditions where they may enter untapped.
Yeah, I want to talk about this for a second. 17 basic lands is completely necessary with the amount of things that you have that search for only basics.
Basics,
you
yeah.
have like 3 different versions of Harrows that can only find basics.
The lander tokens.
Yeah. So any chance that you can search for a non-basic, you probably should search for a non-basic.
Right.
So like Nature's Lore says you can search for a forest. Go get one of the non-basic forests because if you have so many of like the Nuka Penna fetch lands that only find
Right.
basics, that is definitely worth keeping in mind. You'll also notice that 15 tap lands is very high.
Yeah.
That's mostly because of the fetch lands. There's a very high density of fetch lands, which is
Terramorphic
good.
Expanse and all that stuff.
Those would all be considered tapped lands.
Yeah.
So Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds, all of the Nuka Penna fetches. This deck is pretty slow, especially in the first few turns when you're still getting your mana under you.
Cool. All right, let's talk about cards that are specific to this deck. There are 6 cards that care about extra land drops or grant you extra land drops.
Yeah, that give you extra land drops. So a lot of ways to play additional lands on your turn, including in the command zone with a Hearth Hole. Hearthstone. There are 28 cards that allow you to sacrifice lands.
Whoa.
So this could be fetch lands. This could be creatures that specifically sacrifice lands. 28 ways to sacrifice them.
There are 11 cards that care about just sacrificing in general. Sacrifice matters. That includes the commander, by the way.
The backup commander, and the
main one,
face commander, 9 pieces of recursion. These are things that allow you to play lands from your graveyard or bring stuff back from your graveyard in any way.
Yeah, very important in this deck.
Yeah, 9 honestly feels just about right. I might go up a tick if I was this sacrifice focused.
Yep. And then there are 9 things that care about tokens or create tokens.
Yes.
So like a little tiny bit of a token sub-theme here, but obviously it's good to just have more things that can attack with your with the backup commander or just things to crew, so like having extra power on the board. So it makes sense. It's just sort of incidental, not a main theme of the deck though.
Yeah. The average mana value of this deck is 3.52.
A little high, but this deck is going to play so many lands that 4 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana cards are pretty normal.
Yeah, I will say I don't love the average mana value being quite this high because you do want a creature before your commander so you can station it, or you definitely want that ramp to get your 5 mana commander in play depending on what commander you choose.
You want to get to like 7 mana in this deck very crucially because you can play a 3-drop and a 4-drop. Like that's sort of I think where the sweet spot is here.
All right, that is the breakdown of the deck. I actually like these stats pretty much. I think all of these are hitting the expectations here. I think 42 lands is right. I would not cut lands. I goldfish this thing a lot, and there's I'm often just digging for more land drops.
Yeah. Because you're sacrificing lands.
You're sacrificing lands, and you're fetching lands out of your out of your deck constantly.
Right.
So hitting land drops can even be tricky with 42. So do not cut lands from this.
Prepare to shuffle too.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the upgrade goals before we get into the specific adds. I did choose Hearth Hole, the World Seed, as the commander for this deck.
Makes sense to me.
Just sort of does it all. He's a payoff. He's a draw engine. It sacrifices your lands, and it's cheap. I didn't find the justification in the deck to put Zarel in the command zone. There just wasn't enough general sacrifice, I thought, for Zarel to be maximum power.
Zarel wants to sacrifice creatures and a bunch of other things that aren't just lands.
Right.
And you also want ways to buff Zarel's power.
Right.
So.
And I don't think the deck is particularly well suited to support those 2 goals.
Yeah.
My goals in upgrading the deck with Hearthhole in the command zone was to lower the average mana value a little bit to make sure that you always have a way to station your Hearthhole the turn it comes down. I was often casting it with 5 mana available, so I could cast it and activate it on the same turn. I wanted more access to lands in the graveyard. Zariel is a Crucible of Worlds type effect, but it is the only one in the deck outside of Groundskeeper, which you can pay 2 to get a basic back from your graveyard. But it just felt a little too steep, so I wanted to make sure that was something that we added. And I noticed that when I was playing it, that the value engine is exceptionally strong. You can hit all of your land drops, you can churn through your deck, you can fill up your graveyard, but the payoffs are sort of few and far between. Yeah. And they're expensive. So you don't really get them going until way late in the game. So I wanted to make them a little bit cheaper and make sure that when you're grinding your gears in the early game, you are actually making progress in the game.
Love that.
So that meant more repeatable free land sacrifice to pay off for Hearthhole's like final ability.
Yeah, that's the win con, right?
Yeah, there's not a lot of just like sack a bunch of lands for free effects in the deck. And I wanted more cheaper landfall abilities that will pay off in the early game.
Okay, so you had a budget of $50 to
I
do
did.
So you're going to add 10 cards and take 10 cards out.
Yes.
Rachel's the best deck builder I know. You are all very blessed to have her doing this instead of me. So let's see what cards.
Yeah, I never get to do upgrades. I always get to watch somebody else do the upgrade.
Well, it's because you're too overpowered.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like we have a bar and
you got to nerf it.
You got to nerf it for people like me.
All right. For this one, I mentioned it, but I really, really want to be able to play lands from the graveyard.
Yeah, you have to be able to play.
You're sacrificing lands.
Yeah.
You get an additional land drop. There's so many fetch lands in the deck.
There's only like one way to do it in the deck right now.
Yes,
right?
it is just the backup commander.
Yeah,
so I added Ramunap Excavator for only $3.50. This is a classic. Plus, it's 3 mana with 2 power, so it's perfect to station your commander.
Ah,
shocked
cool.
this isn't
It's
in
actually
the deck.
better than the Crucible in a lot of ways because it can station.
Yes.
That's very cool because normally you're like, I don't want a creature, it's going to die. I want to play Crucible, but it's a little more expensive too. But this is great. This is only a $3.50 card.
Perfect. The next one is a Crucible. A Crucible at home? No, it's kind of better than Crucible. It's a walk-in closet and Forgotten Cellar.
Yeah, this is one thing that the bugs don't have, which is a walk-in closet.
A walk-in closet. They have so many different battle armors.
Fly-in closets, but not walk-in closets.
That's true.
All right, what does it say on both sides here?
This is a $7 card, so a little bit spendier. On the walk-in closet side for 2 and a green, you can play lands from your graveyard. Yeah. Incredible. And then the Forgotten Cellar side is 3 green. When you unlock this door, you may cast spells from your graveyard this turn, and if a card would be put into your graveyard from anywhere this turn, exile it instead. Gives you access to your graveyard if you need a big rebuild. Mostly we're here for the walk-in closet side to just be able to play lands out of your graveyard.
Yeah, but late game, if you just were going like, oh, wow, I got wiped a bunch of times, I have to replay my huge, scary Gitrog monster or whatever, unlocking it will give you the ability to access those cards.
And you have a ton of mana, so paying that 5 mana cost on top of other things is perfectly doable here.
Yeah, and then you add a new card, which is maybe the best card in the deck.
This card's incredible. Currently, it is sitting at $8. I imagine this precon will cause this price to spike. It's Zask Skittering Swarmlord. 3 green for a legendary creature insect. You may play lands and cast insect spells from your graveyard.
Wow.
We named so many insects in the new cards section of this episode, so you know that is going to be relevant. And then it says whenever another insect you control dies, put it on the bottom of its owner's library, then you mill 2 cards. And it's 1 and a black and a green. Target insect gets +1/+0 and gains death touch until end of turn. That is all gravy. We are here to be able to play insects and lands from our graveyard.
Yeah, and it's milling more into the graveyard.
That too.
So sick.
It's card advantage, it's recursion for your lands and your threats. Zask is perfect. Hopefully you can get him at a reasonable price because he is from Jumpstart, so those prices are like sort of artificially inflated.
Yeah.
The next section I mentioned is I wanted cheap landfall abilities that can create a forward progress earlier in the game.
Yeah.
So the first one I added was Valakut Exploration for $1.50.
This is 2 in red for an enchantment, has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card as long as it remains exiled, which is going to be for 1 turn, because it says at the beginning of your end step, if there are cards exiled with Valakut Exploration, you put them into your graveyard. Then it deals that much damage to each opponent. So 1 card's 1 damage, 2 cards is 2 damage. Obviously, with fetch lands, you're going to get 2 triggers off of this. So this is more a damage dealer oftentimes than a play extra cards from your library.
Yeah, I just found that even with all the card advantage you have in your commander, even with all the play off the top of your library stuff, you were struggling to hit that land drop, like your 3rd land drop. There's a lot of ways to get extra land drops in the deck. And you just were like, all right, I played all these lands, but I haven't actually like done anything.
Right.
So here it turns your lands into actual damage and gives you a little bit more digging power to get to those big threats like your Rampaging Baloth and your Prime Baloth or whatever it's called.
Baloth Prime.
That's it.
Don't get it messed up. And we were adding now kind of a graveyard theme to this deck. So the fact that this doesn't just exile forever, it puts them into your graveyard is super relevant for the 3 cards we just mentioned.
Absolutely.
Rachel, best deck builder I know. All right.
Best deck builder.
Next up, this card is just also now you've added another best card in the deck.
Yeah, this card's incredible. It's Lotus Cobra.
It stays incredible. This card is just consistently incredible in decks that like it.
1 and a green for a snake. It's a 2/1. 2/1. So it helps station your commander. And it says landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, add 1 mana of any color.
You ain't swinging with this snake.
No.
Because you never wanted to die.
Nope. He's driving the spacecraft. So
There's snakes on this plane craft.
It's perfect in the deck. It gives you a little bit of acceleration in the early game. It's really good with all the fetch lands that are built into the deck. It's got 2 power. Lotus Cobra is perfect for the deck.
Yeah, Lotus Cobra makes turns that wouldn't be possible.
Yeah.
And oftentimes Lotus Cobra, turn 4 or 5, you're like, oh, I just played an 8-drop or something crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only $5. It's a huge upgrade for the deck.
Yeah.
This one is way more expensive than I thought it was.
Yeah, and I remember when it came out, people were like, it's okay. And then I guess it's just climbed up in value because it hasn't seen a reprint, huh?
It hasn't seen a reprint. It's Tiller Engine, sitting at $14, which is a lot, but it has 2 different abilities. It's a 2 mana for a 1/3 construct, so it's colorless. And it says whenever a land enters the battlefield tapped under your control, choose 1. Untap that land or tap target non-land permanent and opponent controls.
Wow, so that's actually pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet. So anytime a land enters tapped, which is constantly in this deck. We mentioned a lot of lands that enter tapped naturally, and then there's a ton of ways to fetch lands, and they enter tapped often. So it's going to trigger a ton. You can, most of the time, you're going to untap lands. But also, this deck, it doesn't have a great board presence until you actually find one of those threats.
Yeah.
So if you need to be able to defend yourself, cracking a fetch at the right time to tap down big attackers is another way that you could play the Tiller Engine, and I think it's going to be really good.
Or just getting a blocker out of the way. Your commander is a flyer, so it has to be able to crack in to really get people to that lower life total where you can just kill them out of nowhere. So that's sick.
It's pretty sweet. I think it's worth it. Plus, it's 2 mana, and it has power, so it can station your commander in the early game. Of course, over 2 turns. Okay, those are the landfall ones. The other thing that I mentioned I needed to add was just ways to repeatedly sacrifice lands without paying mana or tapping anything.
Yep.
It doesn't have any just sack a whole bunch of things, so I added 3 of them. The first one just caught a reprint, so it's a little cheaper than it has been in the past. It's $4.50 for a Sylvan Safekeeper.
Oh, boy. This card's so sick.
Yep.
So green for a 1/1, sack a land, target creature you control gains Shroud until end of turn.
No touchy.
No touchy, and just instant speed. You can just sack as many lands as you want to give creatures any Shroud. As long as you have creatures, right? Because you can't give a Shroud to creature Shroud.
You can't. Yeah, you can
do it in
stack them on
response
top.
to it. Yeah.
But yes, so you can sacrifice a bunch of lands all at the same time.
Yeah.
On 1 turn.
Commander protection is sweet.
The weird thing is your commander does have to be a creature to be able to protect it with this.
Right.
So you do have to have stationed it for 8. But there's a lot of really important creature pieces in this deck that I think are that makes this worth it. Like a Gitrog monster or an Oracle of Moldiah or
Zask.
Zask.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a ton of really powerful engine pieces that I think Sylvan Safekeeper will be able to protect.
A lot of times, too, people don't have removal until your commander is a creature, and then they have creature removal. So at that point, Selfless Executor being online is sick, too.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think this one's a huge ad for only $4.50. This other one I love in the deck.
It's one of my favorite cards of all time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I love this
This
card.
is a great
because
answer.
it just sacks things that you're like, wow, it can do that?
Yeah, it's Greater Gargadon.
Yeah, it's one of my pet cards for sure. 9 in a red.
Yeah, 9
I'll
in
read
a
it.
red. That's what it costs.
But it's actually got suspend 10 for 1 red mana. So you pay 1 red mana, and now you have a suspend 10 that can't be interacted with, and
Yep.
it's just a sacrifice outlet for an artifact, creature, or a land, and then you remove a time counter from it.
Yeah,
And eventually it just comes in as a 9/7.
with haste.
Yeah, with haste, basically, yeah.
So I really like the Greater Gargadon ad because there is some sacrifice stuff going on in the deck that it doesn't have good sack outlets for. Like Jury's in the deck, but you don't have any good sack outlets for it because most of the focus is like sacrificing your lands.
Yeah.
So I figured adding a Greater Gargadon makes some of those cards more effective, and it's just a free land sack outlet, which there just aren't that many of.
Yeah, that's sweet. And you can also sack your tokens with the extra token theme,
Absolutely.
right?
Just having access to a sack outlet is really helpful.
Yeah, and again, people cannot interact with it when it's suspended. Sick. So cool.
It's also pretty funny when you have a Greater Gargadon suspended and people are like, oh, I'm going to attack you with my 5/5. And you're like, I can make a Greater Gargadon at instant speed.
Anytime I want. See ya.
So don't. Only 50 cents for the Greater Gargadon.
It's been reprinted a couple times.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's a card that is, I think, just one of the best cards of all time.
It's a very cool one. It's a very cool one.
Okay, Zuran Orb, you got to put this guy in here. It's a
Yeah.
0 mana artifact, just sack a land, gain 2 life.
75 cents. Zoran Orb says, you're very difficult to kill.
Yeah. A lot of times it's like, oh, I can't actually kill you because of your Zern Orb.
Right.
And now your Zern Orb makes your commander deal damage too on top if you get to 8 stations. Yeah. Sick.
It's also cheap, so you can just cast it for free out of your huge hand. It's an easy thing to get on the battlefield. Zern Orb is as good as it comes when you're talking about sacrificing
powerful
lands.
Card.
Finally, I found myself in turns where I just wanted to untap my commander and do it again.
Oh, right.
Get an additional land drop, draw 2 more cards. So I was still like, I just need something that untaps it. So I'm adding Manifold Keys, $1.25. It gives you additional land drops. It helps you sacrifice more lands. It's only 1 mana, and it can make something unblockable.
Ooh.
So there's a lot of reasons to want a Manifold Key in this deck. I don't think you want like a ton of untappers, but I wanted to make sure that we had one because it is really good.
Yeah, I don't imagine that you're trying to get to the first ability on Hearthhole more often than the last one. For getting to 8 means people will try and remove it, and all of a sudden you're going to be a huge threat. But just getting that second one, building up your value engine until you're ready to get Station 8 seems like the play here.
Yeah. Being able to activate it 2 times in a turn, it just feels really good.
Yeah.
All right. $1.25 for a Manifold Key, which brings my total budget to $46.
Wow.
For 10 cards, and they're good ones.
They are good ones. 10 cards in, though. That's a 110 card deck. We can't play that.
That's true. We got to take some cards out.
That's right.
And the cuts were fairly easy for me.
Yeah.
For this one. So the first card I cut was Hammer of Perforos.
See ya.
It's just too expensive to sack lands. It's like 4 mana.
3 mana,
3
tap
mana
it,
to sack a
and
land.
you can tap it, yeah.
And you get stuff. It gives your stuff haste, and that's fine. But your commander's not a
has
creature.
haste.
Yeah, like so you can activate it. The turn comes down.
Yeah. Your commander having haste is huge in this case. So yeah, Hammer Perforos, sorry, you're getting hammered. Multani Yavimai's Avatar is getting cut. 6 mana.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah, and you're returning lands to your hand,
Not really where you
sacrificing
want
them. So yeah,
them.
not exactly where you want to be there.
A big thing is great. It would help you station your commander really easily, but I just don't think this is the threat you're looking for.
What about God Eternal Bantu? Because he's also saying bye-bye.
God Eternal Bantu sacrifices and draws you a lot of cards, but the deck isn't particularly good at bringing all of them back. Like, it has a Splendid Reclamation and the creature Splendid Reclamation, but like, I don't think you need that kind of card advantage to be powerful at that point in the game.
And your commander's drawing you a bunch of cards already, right? Yeah. Centaur Vine Crasher, 4 mana for a 1/1.
This card's not very good.
Yeah, it's just not very good. You're never going to really pay the extra mana to bring it back to your hand with its third ability, and just having a 4 mana to like maybe be a 4 mana 6/6 or something is.
Yep. It's
whatever.
a
You have
big,
a 4-mana 10/10 in the deck.
it's a big 4-mana beater is what
Yeah.
it is, and I just don't think the deck wants that kind of threat. Like I said, you've got a lot of go wide stuff, and you've got the damage built into your commander.
Yeah, this just feels very like Precon-y.
I agree.
Right, yeah.
I don't think it will last very long in most people's decks.
All right, next up is World Breaker.
Yeah, there's a waste in here specifically for World Breaker, but 7 mana for a removal spell in green and black that is very good at removing things.
Yeah.
I just don't think is all that necessary.
And it's
good to-
conditional land sack has to be in your graveyard for you to
Right.
do it. Yeah.
It's a good flavor thing for the set because it added Eldrazi's in Edge of Eternities, but I don't think ultimately it'll stay in the deck very long. You could cut the waste. I didn't cut the waste because we don't usually mess with mana base, but if you end up cutting World Breaker,
Cut the waste.
cut the waste as well and put probably another forest in.
World Breaker couldn't make it into World Shaper. Sorry.
I know.
Next up, we got Urg Spawn a Turg.
This card also isn't very good.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of big. Maybe it's like a 7/5 at best. Upkeep Surveil 1 is just okay, but black green kind of awkward casting cost, and then black green sack land gain 2 life. Yeah, you got a Zerrin Orb now. You're set.
Yep, we added a lot of redundancy in that slot, and they're better than Urg, unfortunately.
Yep. Next up, the Groundskeeper getting fired from his job.
Yeah, we added 3 ways to play lands from the graveyard for free. We don't need a Groundskeeper to get basics from our graveyard to your hand.
Yeah, and it means you have to sack the basics too. It's not
Right.
like return any land. Like,
Right.
because normally you'll get the fetch lands in there, but this requires you to have something to sacrifice lands, and you have to be sacrificing basics with it.
Yeah.
Next up, Loamcrafter Fawn enters. You can discard land cards to return that many permanents from your graveyard to your hand.
I just didn't have this line up very well when I was playing with it. Most of the time I dump the lands from my hand onto the battlefield, so I
yeah.
don't have a ton of lands to get stuff back from my graveyard. And most of the time what I wanted from my graveyard was lands anyway. So
Yeah.
it didn't really feel great for me.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Arcane Signet.
This is a lands deck. You don't need an artifact.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in green.
You're set.
You don't need. That's not the kind of ramp we want.
Yeah, and you're going to Aftermath Analyst all your lands back, and your Arcane
Yeah.
Signet's going to be like, why am I here?
Yeah, it's cool that it has new art, but I don't think it's very good in the deck.
Skyshroud Claim, though.
Yeah,
At least your last card you're going to cut.
there's a lot of ways to get lands onto the battlefield, especially by turn 4. I don't think you need a Skyshroud Claim. The Harrows and all of that does that kind of
You
work
get
for
there
you.
already. Yeah. Very cool.
Those are the cuts. We've added 10. We've taken 10 out. Now it's perfect.
It kind of is, though.
It's perfect. This deck is sick.
Bugs. Yeah, it's so cool.
I goldfish with it a lot, and I went really deep in the game because it was just fun to spin your engines, or to spin your wheels.
Bugs have wheels?
Yeah. These
Spacecraft
bugs
have
do.
wheels?
Spacecrafts, yeah, they got to land somehow.
They get wheels in there somewhere.
This deck's really cool. I think you should buy it. I think you should build it. I think you should do this upgrade. I had a ton of fun with it. And I like anything that's making a landfall deck that feels a little different. That you're sacrificing lands and playing lands, and it's more of a sort of churn of your mana base than it's just dump everything onto the battlefield.
Totally.
So Hearthhole is awesome. I think we're going to see a lot of him. But the way that I would see this deck play out is you want a cheap value creature early, so you have something to station your spacecraft with once it arrives. I don't know. I'm getting used to the genderless commander thing. Once Hearthhole is on the battlefield.
I don't know what Hearthhole identifies as, but
It's a
definitely
spaceship.
It's a spaceship, yeah. Maybe it has consciousness. You never know.
That's true. I don't know. So cheap creature early, and then you want to get your commander in play and start digging. Your commander is an exceptional engine in this deck, and you want to keep it sort of safe as an artifact for as long as possible. The deck is really good at sacking lands and playing lands. I often had 3 land drops a turn because you have a regular one, your commander, and 1 additional way to do it.
Yeah.
So
That's sick.
It's wild. You always really have lands to play and something to do. You're shuffling a lot. Make sure you have good sleeves for this deck. But the payoff is sort of the tricky thing. So if you have a payoff, only put 1 on the battlefield at a time. You don't need Rampaging Balos and the Prime Balos.
I see.
Baloth Prime. It's fine. Like you can churn a lot. You'll get a lot of beasts from just one thing. Hold the other one in your hand for when your opponents inevitably have to answer you.
Yep.
But overall, this is a super resilient deck that can take a ton of game actions. It's going to be really fun to play. I hope it's not sort of overwhelming the clock.
I see.
But because there is a lot of shuffling. but
and pinging and all sorts of stuff.
yeah.
But it seems
but
pretty
it's
sweet.
Really sweet.
Yeah, this one, actually both of the precons this time around, I looked at them, I was like, I want to build both of these.
They're very cool.
Yeah.
And the value's right there. It has a lot of really usable cards.
Yeah.
The only thing, if you were going to put a lot of money into this deck, fetch lands, all the fetch lands,
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
The mana base will be the most expensive thing if you actually want to maximize
Which
the power
is how
level
it
here.
goes with most landfall decks.
It does.
Yep.
All right. To the listeners, what do you guys think of this precon? Any cards that we missed, any cards that we suggested to take out or add that you disagree with? Are you
Yeah.
as hyped on World Shaper as we are?
Yeah, are you as excited for new legendary artifact spacecraft commanders as we are? Pretty sweet. Vehicles.
It's pretty fun. You can have the boat in the command zone and then all the crew.
Yeah. That's
Pretty
cool.
All right. If you want to buy this precon, any of the cards we talked about in this upgrade, go to cardkingdom.com/command. They know Magic cards. They know all of the different kinds. They know all of the different printings, so they can make sure that the card that you get in the mail is the one you ordered. There's nothing more frustrating than ordering a card and it shows up and it's the wrong surge, it's the wrong foiling. You ordered a surge foil, you get a regular foil.
Sometimes I've
or
gotten
you ordered-
counterfeits too, which is just a real bummer.
nightmare.
Yeah.
So making sure that you're shopping with somebody that you actually trust. Card Kingdom's the best. We trust them. And when you shop with them, you're supporting the show. So use our affiliate link at cardkingdom.com/command.
Make your collection complete with ultrapro.com/command. When it comes to sleeves, deck boxes, binders, playmats, and more, Ultra Pro has the official license from Magic. They also have the incredible Mana 8 line. When we were at MagicCon very recently, we signed a bunch of this product, and it just looks so good. We have all that white space on there. And of course, people bring it to conventions all the time. We see them getting artists to sign it as well. Ultra Pro has such high quality product. We here at the office trust our own collection to it. ultrapro.com/command for all your Magic the Gathering card needs.
All righty. We talked a lot about Magic. We can move to something outside the world of Magic before we go here. And I'm trying to think of something, and I've been playing so much Magic lately that I don't have anything.
Yeah, it's right. It's kind of crazy. I go in phases.
Yeah.
With my hobbies, and Magic is the one that's there the most.
Yeah, of course.
And sometimes I'm like deep in Magic. Like when Final Fantasy came out, it was just game over for me.
Yeah.
I've drafted that thing so many times.
Yeah, you hit Mythic.
I hit Mythic, yeah, for the first time ever.
In Limited? That's
yeah,
so
I think I was like
sick.
350 at my highest, in
That's
the
so
world.
cool.
That's me, Jimmy Wong. I can do it. I'm good at Magic. Yeah, I guess the end step is just hobbies.
I know. It's like, God. So leave a comment for something we should do that isn't Magic. I swear to God, I did a draft, or I played out our rotisserie draft all day on Saturday.
Oh, cool. How'd it go?
It was really great. It was really
Nice.
fun.
Who won?
The pro.
Gavin?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't. His name's Steve. It was really sick.
Steve the pro.
Dave Guskin, who ran it, got second. It was
Nice,
it was really fun. But we did that all day, and then as soon as that finished, we did a vintage cube. And then we went home and I drafted Final Fantasy, and AD is like, "What's wrong with you?"
There's nothing wrong with her.
It's just my brain is just mana symbols.
Yeah, I'm very Magic wired right now.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
It does make me feel like someone commented on this Discord that I'm in. Travis Gafford has a Discord, and they were like, "Wow, Jimmy, you really do play a lot of Magic.
You do,
For a content creator, like I'm glad they were glad to see that I actually played Magic." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to be on a podcast and saying things and not having game experience."
Right? Yeah, of course.
Because then you're just kind of faking it. And so I think there was a period of time when I did this podcast where my Magic interest declined a decent amount. It was when I went to do Milan. I just had a lot of other things going on in my life, or when I had my kid.
Yeah.
And now that I've come around on the hobby, I mean, this happens for a lot of people. I feel like
Yeah, there's always cycles.
You're in and out, and then some things bring you quite back in. Some things take you completely out of it. For me, like Final Fantasy and some of the UB stuff it's like a mix, right? But Final Fantasy really got me back in. And just like in the last few years, knowing you, building more monocolored decks, just like a lot of small things here and there, better design from the game design team. So yeah, I really do love the game.
Yeah.
I really do love
It's so funny.
It's not just Magic either, right? I just love games, and well-designed games are something that are rare.
Yeah.
So having that in Magic just consistently with cool limited environments, what a treat.
So much fun.
Yeah, we're all very
anyway,
lucky to have a game
yeah.
like this in our lives, I think.
Nothing outside the world of Magic right now. You should just play more Magic, guys.
Well, I've been playing.
Really
Okay,
sick.
how about this? I've been playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
I've heard
a little
that's
bit
really
late.
good.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
You should play that.
That's it. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Before we go, we're gonna.
But if I had to choose, I'd be drafting instead. Okay. All right. Here we go.
All right, let's leave. But before we do, we've got to say thank you to our team here at the Command Zone who make this episode and all of our episodes possible. Thank you to Rachel Kendra, Karina Cruz, Sebastian Salazar, Gaurav Galati, Jamie Block, Jordan Pridgeon, Jake Boss, Becky Bell, Eric Lem, Manson Lung, Josh Murphy, Evan Limburger, Sam Waldo, and Josh Lee Kwai.
And we have some new people in the office as well.
We do. The team is growing right now.
Yeah.
So it's a very fun time over at the Command Zone. But
Yeah, our cleanup step will soon have more names added to it, so be on the lookout for that.
Bye, everybody.
All right, bye-bye. Peace.